Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope that you're all doing great, and I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and hopefully you had some time to relax and just regroup and think about 2020 and then learn from it, figure out what went well, what you could change and do differently, and hopefully apply that for 2021. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today in this faith intensive teaching. So this is our first teaching of 2021. And so Happy New Year again. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're rested. And it's Monday, so you have to kind of get back into the swing of things. But what we're going to talk about today is more of a practical strategy that works with faith. And, as I was preparing for this, one of the things I thought about is faith as a visual. We've talked about faith in a number of ways as, reeling in the promise. And so in this instance, we're going to think about faith in terms of another visual, and that is going to be when we look at vision and we look at the promise and what we are pulling into the present. Think of it as a target board, and that's going to be the very, very center. That target is going to be the vision. And so let's say if we're doing target practice and we are aiming toward the center point of our target, that's where we keep our eyes, that's where we keep focused. And so that trajectory from where my bullet is, or an arrow, or whatever you're aiming at it, wherever that is to that point, that is the trajectory line. And so let's think of that trajectory line, that path, as faith. So we're going to have to walk out faith to that target, which is, it's the promise or the vision. We just think of them as they're pretty similar, but that's the vision. And so what happens is, if we start to look a little off, then we're going to aim not at our target. We're going to aim somewhere else, which is actually a different target. And so that's the importance of keeping our eyes right on the target. And the target board is interesting, right? Because there's outer circles, and then there's inner circles, and it keeps getting down to that one point, that is actually the target, even though this is the target board. Okay, so we're on the board somewhere, but we still have to aim for that target. And so I'm going to start off by just asking you some questions. So what are your resolutions for 2021? So let me back up, and let's look back at 2020. And as December came to an end, and let's say from Christmas on to New Year's Eve, did you look back and did you wish that you had done something different? Do you wish that maybe you had taken action in a certain area of your life that you actually could have taken, it was possible for you to do that, but you didn't. And so you're, left with some disappointment. So looking at those kinds of things, and then saying, okay, we're at the beginning of 2021. We're at the beginning of January, still the first few days of January. What do you want to accomplish by the end of this year. And so let me first stop, because I don't want to move any further without laying this principle. And that is, when I say, what is your vision? What are your goals? I say that in the context that you are aligning your vision with the vision that God has for you, and that you have aligned your goals with what He has for you in terms of your purpose. And so, with that said, I'm just going to keep using the term, what are your goals, and what are your dreams, what are your visions? And so, again, we have to be in alignment with heaven and what the Holy Spirit is speaking to you as an individual, and to you as a family or leader of your family, and as a church, as people and society. What is the vision of heaven? And so once you have established the vision, so we're going to be talking about Abraham as an example. He's a really good example, and we're going to be pulling some keys from Abraham's faith journey when we look at this. So let me give you a couple of things, then we'll talk about Abraham. So once you've established the vision, there are some biblical truths that will help you, okay? And so we think a lot of times faith is this spiritual concept, and it is, but faith has practical strategies, and one of those is found in Habakkuk 2:2, and it says, we'll read in just a little bit. Actually, let me just read you the amplified version. It says, and this is partway into it, write the vision and engrave it plainly on clay tablets so that the one who reads it will run. So that's one translation. Other ones say things like this: write the vision and make it plain so that he who runs can, basically execute the vision. And so, breaking that down, write the vision down. That's one practical key, writing the vision down. And so I think there have been kind of some research done, and some statistics show that, it's like very few people actually write the vision down. And then number 2 here, and make it plain. So there's a strategy to writing it down correctly, but then keeping it before your eyes. And so I have heard like business coaches and personal coaches, motivational speakers talk about these kinds of things. And so, for the percentage of people, which is not very high, who actually write the vision down, out of that percentage, then the number of people who are writing it plain, meaning, and there are some practical strategies to this. I won't go into all the details of that. Maybe we'll do that in another video. But some of the things are making it clear. Can anybody read it and know what it means? Also, is there a date to be completed by? Is there a goal as far as a deadline? And so, for example, I could say, I am going to have, and I'll call it something like stack of files here, scanned and organized by January 31st. So that my vision is that this hypothetical stack of files, of papers, are not going to be on my desk, cluttering up my vision here. My vision is for clean, organized in digital files instead of hard copies piling up my desk by January 31st. Okay, so that's an example of making it plain so that we know exactly what this means. So what do we have to do in that example? Well, we have to go through the files. We have to make folders on our computer. We have to scan them in. We have to name them, and we have to discard and shred those the files that we've scanned in by January 31st. So if I have, let's say I have 4 huge files, I might then incorporate a strategy of saying, okay, my deadline is January 31st. There are 4 weeks from now until then. File 1 is going to happen in week 1, file 2, week 2, file 3, week 3, and file 4, week 4. And then I have success. So what I have to do, this is a pretty cool graphic, and I will show it to you. I printed this out from our website. This is from our latest blog article, which I'll tell you about in a minute. This is the graphic. It's really, it's a good visual. You see at the top, we start with the vision, then we move to the strategy, then we execute, then we have success. But if we don't have a vision, we can't get to success because we have no, in the initial example that I talked about, the trajectory to the target, we've got no vision. We've got nowhere to look, and we don't know where we're headed. So this is really important. So writing the vision, making it plain, and one of the things that I don't know, I don't know what your day is like. I don't know what your schedule is like, but I can tell you that my day is, I could let my day be completely overwhelmed with demands and to-dos, all kinds, work related, family related, personal things that I need to do, bills, organizing, cleaning, cooking, making sure I have groceries, doing homework with children, and then there's things outside of that. I mean, we have relationships with friends, we have family, things like that. So all of these demands really infiltrate our lives. And so here we walk into a new year. We have these great, outstanding goals. We have these visions. We're full of energy. And in order to actually get to success, we have to know the vision. And making it clear is really important. And then keeping it before our eyes, after we write it down, keeping it before our eyes. We'll talk about that with Abraham. But if we don't make a point to keep it before our eyes, then it's going to be forgotten. So there's a principle, and it says that, you walk, or you have a trajectory that you're walking on, that trajectory of faith to the vision, to the target. You walk in the direction of your focus. That's where you're headed. So, just try it in the, just walking, not even talking about a concept like this, but try walking, somewhere in your house, but looking in another direction. It's going to be really hard. And so you have to, you always, and you naturally do this, you're going to walk in the direction of where you're looking. And you know this with like animal training. So with horses, they put blinders on horses to keep them focused so that they look straight ahead. So having blinders is a good thing. We need to stay focused on the vision, on the target, because we're busy And we have lots of demands, and we have lots of deadlines, and just all kinds of things are thrown at us. So even, let's say as an example, I came and to sit at my desk this morning, and I have, X number of things on my calendar to get done today, and I've estimated how long each is going to take so that I'm not overcommitting myself for the day, but I can realistically and get things done, effectively, and I can do it well, and I'm not stressed out. And so in the meantime, though, there's this email that came in, then there's another email that came in, then there's a text that comes in, and then there's a call, and then this person called and needs a call back. So there's lots of things that come in to try to take focus away. And these other things are important, but staying focused on the vision, on the target, is critical. So keeping it before our eyes, and I mean like daily keeping it before our eyes. This is why, we've talked about renewing the mind, renewing our mind daily, and the Bible tells us renew our minds daily. This is why, because if we're not focused and have the Word of God in front of us, we're going to start looking this direction, which is not the target, which is the Word of God. We're going to be looking here, we're going to be looking there, and we're going to be so overwhelmed by looking. There's just too many things to look at instead of focusing on the target, on the vision. And I was thinking about this too. I don't know if you did this when you were little, when you were a child, but we did this. So we had a magnifying glass, and we would take newspaper, and we would go outside, and we would hold the magnifying glass up and focus the light from the sun in a little tiny point on the paper, and it would get really hot, and it would start to burn. It would start to burn, and we would write words and draw shapes, and it would actually burn and catch on fire. And so that is what magnifying means. So magnifying is to become concentrated and focused on a certain point on the target. And it also makes it bigger so we can see it larger. So that's what we're doing. We are actually magnifying the vision where it becomes larger to us because it's the thing that we're looking at. And it's also focused as a pinpoint. There's our target, there's our vision. And it blocks out the other things that we could be distracted by. So keeping the vision, in front of us is important. And, I think we're going to have to do this in a couple of sessions. Definitely the next session will continue this. But what I want to do is start to look at Abraham and his life. And so that's what we're going to do here in the second half of this teaching, and then going on into the next teaching as well. But so we've looked at Habakkuk 2:2, and it says again, "Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it plainly on clay tablets so that the one who reads it will run." This version, it uses the word engrave, and so it implies that when it's written, it's permanent and it's not going to be erased. So, for example, we're not writing it with a pencil that can be erased. We're writing it, in ink, or like here it says to engrave it, so that it's not going to be subject to getting smudged or distorted or anything like that. It's there and it's permanent. And so, if you don't have the vision, before your eyes. We've all heard this expression, but it says out of sight, out of mind. So in the positive, let's say if we keep it in sight, it's going to be in mind. So in the business world, if you guys are self-employed, if you have your own businesses, or if you're in a certain, kind of role in a business, you may go through some kind of business coaching, or you may look at and read certain books, regarding business optimization and more effective leadership in business. And so in order to reach goals in business, you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a vision. One of the first things that you do with any business or any organization is you say, what is your mission and your vision? What are those things? And everything else falls and fits within the mission and the vision. So the mission takes you to the vision. And so we've got to know the vision. Even in the the way that God created things, he created the end, and then he went back to the beginning and started going towards the end. And that's one of the principles of faith, is that we speak things that be not as though they were, because they already are in the spiritual realm. They're already in existence because they were created first. And so we're on that trajectory now towards those things. We're walking on that faith trajectory towards those things. And so let's say if you have ever created a business, you have this great idea, so you've got the vision, you've got it in your head, you get this great idea. An idea is different from a vision, okay? So the vision is, it's clear, it's going to be written down, you've got to do that, or else there's a lot of great ideas, but they don't become anything. So let's say you want to, I'm just going to make up something here, but let's say you have this great idea for, a restaurant. And somehow your restaurant is different than other restaurants, and it's going to stand out, but you need some funding and you want some investors and things like that, and so, but you've got nothing written. The first thing that anybody's going to ask you is, can I see your business plan? And the first thing that they're going to look at is, what is your mission and what is your vision, and then how does your business plan line up with that? And so in business, this principle, you see it all the time. I have even seen, and I think this is amazing, people apply this in their personal lives, which is what I'm really talking about here today, as I'm encouraging you to do this. One of the first times it really stood out to me, because I had never seen anybody do this before, but when I was in college, one of my friends got married. She was engaged and she got married, and I remember her telling me that before they got married, everybody goes, or most people do, go through some premarital counseling with the pastor. If they have a pastor that's, gonna officiate the ceremony, the pastor is gonna want them to go through some premarital counseling. Well, that's pretty common, but what they did was they went through and they said, for our marriage, what is our mission and our vision? This is not just like, hey, we really love each other. Oh, we're infatuated. We've got something. We feel like we connect. We like the same things. Things like, that you hear all the time. This was not what they were talking about. As they were leading up to their wedding, they were talking about what is our mission and what is our vision, and they actually came up with not a business plan, but it was like a marriage plan, for things that they saw that they were going to achieve. They had goals for a year out, they had 3-year goals, they had 5-year goals, they had 10-year goals, they had 20-year goals. Oh my goodness, like I was blown away, and they're doing really great. So this was that was probably 20 years ago when they got married. And so anyway, so applying this principle in your life as an individual, to your marriage, to your family, these are important, because these are where we, I think, have the most, I guess I'll say it this way, the most regret when we look back at certain pivotal points in life, like the end of a new year and the beginning of another year, or birthdays, or anniversaries, or things like that, and we look and we don't see progress, we don't see goals being achieved. And partly it's because there's just ideas, and that's it. They don't really become vision, and there's nothing written. The vision is not written, it's not made plain, and it's not kept before their eyes. And so, I mean, even with that, there's also strategy, and then you've got to do some legwork yourself. You've got to execute it. And of course, the Holy Spirit comes alongside, and he will give you divine strategy. He will give you the ability to execute, because he doesn't give you a vision and he's just going to leave you. He's going to empower you with strategy, and he's going to do some things that you can never do. He's going to open doors that you can't open, and he's going to close doors that need to be closed. And so, with all of that, though, what I'm talking about here today is there's things for you to do. You have a part in this, and I have a part in it for me. And so writing the vision and making it plain so that even a runner can read it and run with it. So, and that reading it and running with it is, executing it. And there's also going to be people, in a lot of cases, it's not just a vision that you alone are going to carry out. A lot of times there's going to be other people that need to be brought in to help you achieve the vision. So that's part of writing it so that other people can see it when it's necessary, and making it plain so that they can understand it. I mean, it's amazing how you can say something and then somebody misinterpret, right? So the communication is not clear. And I remember when I was in School of Communication, and I remember seeing this visual, and it was like, here's A, which is like the communicator, over here's B, this is the recipient, and then A has this, here's the actual message that I want to communicate, here's the line of communication over to B, and then in the middle is all this, static, basically. And so there's a lot of room for unclear communication. So the point is, when we communicate the vision, it must be plain. So it's not just for ourselves, it's for other people who will come alongside and help achieve that vision. So how about if we stop there, because we're actually already going on 30 minutes, and we are going to pick up next time in really talking about Abraham and how God gave him a vision of his future. And we're going to talk about Abram's, because his name was still Abram, talking about his trajectory towards that vision, how he walked and how he got to that target, and what God did in providing a vision, a visual for him, and how we need to apply that principle. So that'll be exciting for the next teaching. So I hope this has been. I hope it's been good for you in that. Not so much that you haven't heard some of this before, but that you really take action. So great and wonderful if you're listening to this and you say, "Oh, that's really good," and then you don't do anything about it. I think that if you're watching, you're really interested and you're inclined to be motivated by, faith. You're interested in faith. You have things that you want to pull into the present. You've got promises. You have things that, God has spoken to you about, and you want to see those things realized in the present one day, and not just left, as a dream, as something that you're hoping for, and that faith never brings it into the present. So, I read also just, I think it was a day or so ago, but somebody had written on social media, 2021 doesn't mean that your successes are insured or something like that. Just because we've entered into a new year and it's a fresh new date doesn't mean that things are going to change. You're going to have a repeat of 2020 unless you do something different, because you're still on that same path. So you've got to start walking in the direction of the vision. And so I think that you will be astounded if you just apply these principles. They're not even that difficult. You just have to do them. And so I think so often we never take time to really sit and think. So what I would recommend to you, and I'm doing this as well, so this isn't just something that I'm saying, I'm actually actively doing this. Actually, let me show you here. This is terrible, but these are some of my brainstorms for 2021, and I've got them categorized out. And these are a little out of order because I was going through them earlier, but I'll just kind of show you. Like there's one that says spirit, soul, and body. So for my 3 parts, this is for me as an individual. What do I want to see this year? Based on faith, what are things that I want to see this year? In my finances, what do I want to see? So I homeschool. So for homeschooling, what are some of the things I want to see? In the relationship with my children, what are some of the things that I want to see? So you know what? One of the things, this is an example here, I'll just tell you. I'm sure you guys probably know this, but if you don't, or if you haven't listened before, I have 4 children. And so one of the things that I think a lot of times with moms, you get so busy and you think that you're investing in the relationship with your children because you're cooking and you're cleaning and you're helping with homework and you're doing all these things. But those, I think just taking time to be with children is important. And so that was one of the things that really was, on my heart for this year, was to really, really focus on the relationship with each child individually. And so it kind of works out because I have 4 children and there's 4 weeks in a month. And so I wrote my vision here for that. And then just today, so the strategy is every week I'm going to have a date with each child just by themselves, and they can choose whatever they want to do. If they want to go walk somewhere, if they want to go to a playground, if they want to go walk in a store, if they want to go get ice cream, if they just want to go play at the beach, if they want to go do something, I'm going to just go and I'm going to just be with that child. And it's not going to be me, helping them with homework or correcting them on multiplication tables or, making sure their room is clean or things like that. I'm just going to be with them and just enjoy going deeper in a relationship with them as a person, to get to know them and they get to know me as a person, and we go deeper into that. So, I started to look. That's 4, so on Fridays, 4 Fridays a month, every Friday. So what does that mean? I can't book work meetings. I can't commit to other things. I can't do that because if this is a priority, I have put it on my calendar. I've got it already scheduled, and I know I put it in for the first quarter of the year, and then a note at the end of the first quarter to do it for the second quarter. So if Friday doesn't work, I'll adjust it to another day. Or if the morning doesn't work, we'll do it in the evening. So the strategy can be tailored and adjusted over time. But I'm excited because that vision, now I've written it down and have a strategy for it. And I'm excited to see in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, what great things will result from it. And so just look at some things like that in your life. And of course, we do these faith intensive teachings every 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, we'll be back, and hopefully you will have had time to do that. We'll be well into January by then. But I look forward to hearing great things from you. And actually, email us, info@basedonfaith.org. If you feel like doing that, you don't have to share intimate details, but if you would like to do that, that encourages me. It encourages us, the team at Based on Faith, and let me know how this has impacted you. I would really like to know successes that you have as a result of this. And so again, let's use this time to get the vision, write it down, make it plain, keep it before our eyes. Figure out how to keep it before your eyes. Do you want to put it on your refrigerator so you see it every day? Do you want to tape it on your bathroom mirror so you see it every day? Do you want to put it on a note card and hang it from your mirror in the car so you see it every day? I know that's a little tacky, but hey, if it works, keep it before your eyes. So anyway, this has really been good, and it's actually been motivating me even more with some of the things that I've been thinking about. So if you like this, you can share it with people, encourage them, motivate them. We've got some good things coming up this year, and if you guys will keep us in prayer, next week we are going to be in Colombia, South America. We're going to be speaking in churches all week next week, and doing some other great things. We're going to be going to some, 2 orphanages, and so just keep us in prayer as we travel, fly, and all sorts of modes of transportation, and but just we're looking to see great things happen there. And until Until 2 weeks, I send you love and blessings. Bye-bye.